what was taking place in Europe at the beginning of the 20th century.
The capitalism was consolidating as a worldwide system, wasn't it, teacher?
Very well, Jamie. Since the second half of the 19th century, the Second Industrial Revolution had allowed countries such as France and Germany, among others, to increase their production.
But the pictures from those days show a high level of poverty.
That's a good observation. That was because the differences between the social classes had widened progressively, while the factory owners earned increasingly more. The working class lived in very poor living conditions. But during the 1870s, the economy underwent a significant crisis. The problem was with the factory owners. Their profits reduced significantly as they found they had nobody to sell the production to. On the one hand, there existed a fierce competition between the companies, which limited them to raise the prices of the products. On the other, the markets didn't grow at the same rate as production. There was more production than purchasers, and the companies couldn't reduce the cost of production by lowering the workers' wages.
Because the workers were organized in union trades.
The companies had to find the solutions somewhere else. They decided to introduce new technology to set limits to the competition and the prices, and to reorganize the tasks of the factory workers.
Is it possible that Taylor and Ford had something to do with this?
They both implemented a system to organize the tasks at the factories. The main aim was to avoid dead times in production. That is, the workmen could no longer waste time of production talking to the workmates or exchanging production tools.
Why didn't Germany sell their products to France, for example? Thus, the profits would grow up again.
Because the core countries applied protectionist regulations. They closed the borders and didn't buy or sell any products from or to any nearby country.
So that domestic production didn't have any competition.
The taxes on imported products were increased, and this discouraged the entry of foreign products.
Then, how did Europe step out of the economic crisis?
To a great extent, thanks to what was later called by historians the imperialism. The imperialism gave place to a war which had Europe as a stage. The First World War.
Look what I've found, Jamie. A world map. It's caught my attention as it doesn't seem antique, but is quite different from the present maps. There are countries which no longer exist nowadays. In Europe, there's only one country in red, but in Asia and Africa, there are many colored that color. The same happens with other countries and colors.
What calls your attention now was very common in the days when this world map was drawn. At the beginning of the 20th century, Europe was going through the age of imperialism and would soon undergo a very important event. Have you ever heard about the First World War?
Yes, of course.
Well, you must add it to the revolution which took place in Russia in 1917, and you'll surely understand why the world then changed forever. After the Treaty of Versailles, the map of Europe was redesigned and new countries emerged.
Then, the combination of imperialism and nationalism was lethal to the preservation of the peace that had lasted almost a century. Besides, it showed its first cracks with the development of an anti-capitalist revolution.
It results evident that world maps change along history, and that the borders aren't fixed as they're set by human beings.
That's why there was a coincidence of colors between Europe and Africa on the map we found.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and answer the question. You can also click the links on the right to continue learning and click the like button. We appreciate your help. See ya!